And now, marine weather around Alaska.
Well, we'll start this Monday's marine segment off with this Monday's sea ice analysis, showing pretty much some ice now covering the entire area here west of the northwest coast there. North of the Bering Strait, still a area of sea ice-free water here over the Chukchi Sea, but that area diminishing by the hour, and some, looks like Norton Sound, according to this image, just about completely iced over. And for tonight, a little bit stronger low here, swings up into the eastern Aleutian areas there with gusty winds and rain for the Alaska Peninsula with some moisture and light rain all the way up to Kodiak Island. Wet conditions, but not too bad wind-wise for the remainder of the Aleutians. And showers, this low finally troughs out, weakens, a lot of moisture sliding northwestward here. Another low down to the south swings up and brings rain into the southern panhandle. And leftover moisture just grazes the North Gulf Coast tomorrow down to the Kenai Peninsula. This front spreads or keeps rain over southern Kodiak Island and in across the Alaska Peninsula with wet conditions over the eastern Aleutians with a pretty weak low there just west of Nikolsky. Some flurries over the interior, some light snow or flurries for the eastern Arctic coast. Otherwise for Wednesday, pretty nice up here north of the Alaska Range all the way up to the Arctic coast. Increasing clouds, cloudier and warmer, and a better chance of some moisture pushing into southern Alaska here, especially from Prince William Sound down the south coast of the Kenai Peninsula to Kodiak Island. And just trough now over the southern panhandle for some showers there, dry in the north with light winds for the Bering Sea and the Aleutians. Coastal water forecast for tomorrow, we're looking at east winds 25 to 30 knots here for the south coast of the Panhandle, southeast 25 for Clarence Strait, north 15 for Stevens Passage, southeast 15 for Lynn Canal, otherwise east-northeast at 10 to 20 knots for the north coast. And for Wednesday, south coast, east winds 15 knots, north coast, east winds 20 to 25 knots, north winds 15 for Lynn Canal, 20 knots Stevens Passage, and northwest at 15 for Clarence Strait. And for Prince William Sound tomorrow, not too bad. Light winds out of the northeast at 10 knots. East to northeast winds from the North Gulf Coast, 20 to 25 knots. And Cook Inlet, northeast winds 15 to maybe 25 knots. 25 knot northeasterlies for Kamishak Bay. East 25 for the Barren Islands. And then for Wednesday, a little breezier in the inlet, northeast winds 20 to 30 knots. Gale warnings in the forecast for Kamishak Bay, east at 35 knots. Small craft advisories for the Barren Islands, North Gulf Coast, east winds 25 knots, seas 10 feet, and Prince William Sound. Wind will be east at 20 with 4-foot seas. Kodiak Island, east winds 25 knots for Tuesday. East-southeast winds here, 20 to 35 knots for the Alaska Peninsula, and Bristol Bay, winds right out of the east at 25. And then for Wednesday, Bristol Bay, east wind at 20, variable winds 10 to 15 knots for the Alaska Peninsula. Kodiak Island, east and southeast winds 20 to 30 knots. And for Wednesday, or for the eastern Aleutians, tomorrow, kind of a low pressure looks like would be right here over on Unimak Island there, so winds blowing around that center, 20 to 40 knots, otherwise north 25 for the central Aleutians, and north to northeast at 20 to 25 knots for the western Aleutians. And then for Wednesday, western Aleutians, north to northwest winds 15 to 20 knots, north to northwest at 20 to 25 knots in the central Aleutians, and east winds 10 to 15 knots for the Fox Islands. And for the southwest coast, small craft advisories for northeast winds 25 to 30 knots there. Actually, that's a brisk wind advisory for the Yukon Delta coast with the sea ice coverage. Brisk wind advisory for Norton Sound, northeast at 25. Gale warnings for the Pribilofs. Northeast winds 40 knots, northeast at 30 for St. Matthew Island. And for Wednesday, Pribilof Islands, northeast at 20 knots, northeast 25 for St. Matthew Island. East 30 for Norton Sound, northeast 20 for the Yukon Delta coast, St. Lawrence Island. Winds out of the east at 20 for the Kuskokwim Delta coast. And for the eastern Beaufort Sea coast, north to northwest winds at 10 to 15 knots, northeast at 15 for the central coast. And the western coast there, east-northeast 20 to 25 knots, in the Chukchi Sea, east-northeast 15 to 20. And for Wednesday, the Chuck TC, small craft advisories, east-northeast winds 20 to 30 knots, and a brisk wind advisory for the western Arctic coast, east at 25, east 15 for the central coast, and east-northeast at 15 knots for the eastern coast.